Hi, this is Lucy Bryan Malenke from the James Madison University Writing Center, and this is the third video in our group writing series. In it, you'll learn about how to create a team charter for a group writing project. If you've participated in a group writing project before, you've probably experienced one or more challenges that could have been avoided with strategic planning and preparation. Maybe the members of your group had different visions or standards for the final product, and that created conflict. Or maybe your group got stuck when someone missed a deadline or turned in unfinished work. Creating a team charter is a way of ensuring that everyone's on the same page. It's work on the front end that can save you a lot of time and frustration on the back end. So what does a team charter include? Joanna Wolf, in her book Team Writing, A Guide to Working in Groups, says there are 8 components to an effective team charter. First, there are overall broad team goals for the project. Then there are measurable specific team goals. Next, there are personal goals for each team member. And then there's the individual level of commitment to the project for each team member. There's also other information about team members that may affect the project, as well as a statement of how the team will resolve impasses, a statement of how the team will handle missed deadlines, and a statement of what constitutes unacceptable work and how the team will handle this. Let's take a closer look at each of these elements. When deciding your overall broad team goals for the project, everyone involved should consider what a successful project will look like. Try to think beyond the grade. Instead, think in terms of purpose. So if you're writing a business plan, your goal might be to create a final product that you're proud to show future employers, and that demonstrates your abilities to work in teams, apply expertise, and produce a polished deliverable. Or, if you're conducting a research project in a health-related field, your goal might be to generate information that responds to a legitimate health problem or need in your community. Once you've decided on the broader goal or goals of your project, you can then move on to measurable specific goals. Again, think beyond the grade you want and instead focus on what will constitute high-quality work. So if you know concision is important to your audience, you might make it a goal to cut the word count by at least 20% between the first and final drafts by eliminating wordiness and redundancies. Or, if your project will involve incorporating many outside sources into your writing, you might make it a goal to have fewer than 3 and ideally 0 citation or reference list errors in the entire paper. Your group should work together to come up with several of these goals, which will later help you think about how to divvy up responsibilities for the project. Next, consider the personal goals of each team member. How might you use this group writing experience to develop your skills, or to acquire experiences that will be valuable in future classes, graduate school, or your career? If this writing project will involve producing tables, charts, or figures, you might make it a personal goal to improve your data visualization skills. Or, if your future career will involve supervising others, you might make it a personal goal to develop your leadership and team management skills. Or maybe you're the kind of person who has the tendency to take on too much in group projects. Your goal might be to learn to share responsibilities and collaborate more effectively. Make sure to list at least one personal goal for each team member. After you've listed your goals, it's time to have an honest conversation about how much effort each person is willing to invest in the project. The time and energy that each group member has to give, or is willing to give, can be affected by a whole host of outside factors, such as course load, GPA requirements for a scholarship or major, personality, and commitments outside of school. By talking candidly about levels of commitment and motivation, you can avoid potential conflicts in the future. So what do you do if someone in your group has a low commitment level? Joanna Wolf recommends that you assign fewer or less critical tasks to team members with low commitment to minimize the effects of poor performance. She also recommends that teams agree upon and formalize a grading arrangement with the faculty member. For example, a student with a lower commitment level might receive a 1-letter grade reduction for doing 25% less work than his or her teammates. In addition to commitment level, there might be other individual circumstances that could affect the success of the project and your ability to contribute to it. Maybe you work a full-time job, so there are only a few times every week when you're available for team meetings. Maybe you're signed up for an alternative break this semester, or you've committed to planning a major event for a club you belong to, and you're worried about the ways that commitment might conflict with the project's timeline. Perhaps English isn't your native language, and you know you'll need some extra help with identifying grammar and usage issues in your writing. These circumstances have the potential to cause problems if they catch your team off guard, but they don't need to. If you share this information during the team charter process, your group can work together to accommodate each other's needs and avoid last-minute crises. Of course, even with careful planning, not everyone on your team will agree all the time. So what are you going to do if you can't resolve a disagreement? It will be much easier to deal with conflict if you have a plan of action in advance. Joanna Wolf gives 4 possible methods for resolving conflict in team writing. First, you could aim for consensus. The group could commit to talking things out until everyone agrees. The problem is that this can take a lot of time, and real consensus may not be possible. Some team members may give in just to end the disagreement. Second, you could take a vote, allowing the majority to rule. However, this could leave one or more members feeling ganged up on. A better alternative might be allowing the instructor to decide. If there's time, and if your instructor is willing to mediate disagreements, you could present both sides anonymously and commit to following her recommendations. Another option is to seek the help of a classmate from another team, to present both sides anonymously, and to let him or her decide. So your team charter might include a statement like, if we cannot resolve a conflict after 20 minutes of discussion, we will present both sides to the instructor and ask her to decide. Your group should also think through how you will handle missed deadlines, if that need arises. Who will be in charge of contacting the person who missed the deadline? How long will you wait before contacting the instructor? Your team charter might say something like, if a member misses a deadline, the team leader will send a reminder email. If the member does not respond with an explanation and submit the work within 24 hours, the team leader will contact the instructor. The final component in your team charter should be a clear description of what constitutes unacceptable work. You might define unacceptable work as writing that fails to meet the assignment criteria provided by the instructor, that plagiarizes outside sources, that deviates significantly from the outline the team created, that falls short of the length requirement, or that is obviously unfinished, as indicated by missing information, significant issues with clarity, or pervasive grammar errors, typos, or formatting issues. Your charter should also articulate what the consequences will be if someone submits unacceptable work. Joanna Wolf suggests 3 possible ways to deal with unacceptable work. First, the team leader could contact the team member who produces unacceptable work with suggestions and a deadline for revision. Second, the team leader could collect suggestions from other team members, share them with the offending team member, and set a deadline for revision. And third, in a time crunch, the team leader could rewrite the section or designate another team member to rewrite it. In this case, the team members could later note the incident and any evaluations or reflections provided to the instructor. Creating a team charter is a great way to make sure everyone begins a group writing project with the same expectations and with goals that align. A charter can minimize the kinds of conflict that are common in group work and help you know how to proceed if conflict does arise. For a link to a team preparation worksheet that can help your group create a team charter, visit the group writing resources on the University Writing Center's online writing guides and handouts page. And make sure to check out the next video in this group writing series, which will focus on creating task schedules and assigning roles and responsibilities.